さあ来るがよい招かれし者よ。期待にたがわぬ勇者、未だ荒削りなれど我が元に来たれば必ずや我が願い叶えよう。来たれ我が光の知恵。
Now finally, this is what I'm talking about, Gunrock. How do you even come up with that? This is how you name anime things. This is how you do it. If I recall correctly, there's also a character in Power Stone named Gunrock, so maybe there's some kind of pattern going on here I'm not aware of. I mean, this game wasn't made by Capcom, but maybe there's a cultural thing with the word Gunrock. Or just the words gun and rock separately. These spiders are exactly the same as the ones we saw in Mount Clome, so they're no big deal. Just, you know, use your... Oh, that power-up we got destroys all enemies on the screen, but there wasn't very many enemies on the screen, so it was kind of a waste. These boxes, as I'm sure you've noticed, explode when you get close enough to them. Jumping over them seems to be the best solution for that. Now let's wait for this minecart to pass by. And we see that it runs into this rock and flies off into the air. That rock's blocking the way to progress. We need to find a way to get rid of it. We've already seen some explosive things in this stage so far, so I'm sure you can guess exactly how we're going to get the rock out of the way. We just need to find something big enough. Oh hey, I almost forgot about these terrifying things. They attack you twice with their melee attack, but you can kick them in between their attacks, so you don't need to wait for them to finish their full combo. They also shoot fire, but, you know, you can block that like everything else. They seem to be good at sniping you while you're dealing with other enemies, as a lot of enemies from here on out will be. This is the thing they do now. This golem guy is pretty cool. He charges at us like a complete idiot, which deals a lot of damage if we actually get hit by it. And after that, we just block and hit him back after he's done. He's too big to avoid any of our attacks, so we're just gonna use our full combo. He does have 2 melee attacks, and one of them is longer than the other. Well, sorry, takes longer than the other, but if we press block immediately after we finish our own combo, we'll be fine. This quicksand will pull us into a bunch of those explosive boxes, which will deal about half our life bars worth of damage if we get hit by them all, so let's just jump over that. We still need to find something to blow up that, So, when I said the enemies start attacking you together, this is what I meant. And it's really difficult to time your blocks properly. You have to be insanely good at counting the seconds in between enemy strikes. So usually I just tank it. It's funny how a little change could have made this game ridiculously difficult, like if the enemies dealt more damage. This sequence here is entirely scripted, we can't really do anything about it. It drops us off at a mini-boss who, like a lot of the mini-bosses lately, charges directly at us, which we can block. After that, it's just a matter of blocking his swipes and attacking back. He does deal chip damage, but not very much. Then again, we're not hurting him very much either, and that's because we are way underleveled at this point. They might have intended you to be around level 25, but I would guess higher based on one of the later mini-bosses we're going to fight in this level. Based on the later mini-boss we're going to fight, there's only one more. But as I said, we're going to stretch the game design as much as physically possible, just because that way we get to learn more about the game and the way it works. And I mean, this is probably what you would do if you were playing anyway, right? Don't lie to yourself. We still haven't found anything to deal with that big rock blocking the minecart, but we just fought a mini-boss, so we have to be going in the right direction, right? Those usually aren't there for no reason. I would question why the world is so full of monsters, even, you know, mines, which are presumably used by humans, or were used by humans previously, but that might have been covered by the story, and I just have no idea. You can definitely get an idea of what Blood is after and his character by watching his story unfold. Just the opening and ending cutscenes, I mean. But as for anything else, like the game world, I have no clue. It feels like the intro cinematic was trying to tell us something about the world, but it was all in English. And the rest of it was just rambling about this mysterious Lemuria fellow, who we have yet to see, but I'm sure that when we see him, nothing unexpected will happen. I can see what looks like a bomb behind this golem. It's sparkling, which probably means it's important. So maybe we'll use that to blow up the giant rock. I think the odds are pretty high that's what it's for. If you're wondering how we use items that are necessary for the story from our inventory, we just walk up to the designated area and they use themselves. Which I think that's probably the best way to do this. And I'm probably not just saying that because I can't read Japanese. This elevator wouldn't have worked if we tried to use it from down here. So let's get rid of this rock. That's a lot of question marks. That was a pretty hilarious explosion, and the next step is to actually get on this minecart and ride it. It's not interactive, it's just a big cutscene. But the character does auto-block while they ride it, which I think is pretty cool. Because I would be terrified for my life. I don't know where this minecart goes, or what it's used for. We have no idea where we're going. Why was it even running by itself? This is a stupid idea. And it just so happens to lead right to the most difficult mini-boss in the entire game. Its tail swipe has the most absurd range of any melee attack in the entire game, and it chains it into a combo, meaning getting close to attack it is an impossible feat. Good thing we have this really huge fireball that we can spam from super far away. Not everybody has one of those, you know, so if you're playing as the other characters, you might actually have to grind a little bit, or a lot of it. But we're blood, so we don't have to. To be fair, if you learned how to shoot fireballs out of your hands, would you ever get close to your enemies either? What would even be the point? I'm not gonna play ethics with you, man. I don't care if I have a genetically predisposed advantage over you. I just want to get my Dragon Balls so I can wish my dead family back. That's probably what's happening here. And you won't know any better until we see the ending, so you'll just have to take my word for it. Hey, it's another skeleton with goofy extendo punches. I remember you. We deal with him in exactly the same way, basically. I don't even think he has any new attacks. Sure seems to take a lot more hits, but that's game design for you. And here's a golem with a key, just standing right in the main pathway. You know, if they're gonna go through the trouble of hiding keys, you figure they would be somewhere you'd have to look for them. But after we beat this golem, we'll have the key for the boss fight. And it's just about finding it, and usually it's not too far away. You know, it's funny, a lot of the levels in this game are laid out in a way as to make them seem maze-like, but they never actually are. I wonder if that's intentional. Because that seems like a very, very specific atmosphere to go for. Maybe the illusion of a labyrinth makes the adventure feel more adventure-y, and that's why they did that. Speaking of the illusion of a labyrinth, there's a ton of houses here, and we have to weave our way through cracks between them to find the way through. But it's fairly obvious which way is the right one. Oh wow, that's new. I take back what I said before. This guy gives us our full health refill that we get before every boss battle, so you probably want to take him out if you've taken any damage. Not that the bosses are exactly hard, as you've seen. This game is not really for people who prefer challenge. Maybe it was more challenging back when it came out, and I'm not giving it enough credit, because I guess 3D was still relatively new back then, and so were 3D action games. I mean, Maximo only came out 3 years after this, and holy shit did people have trouble with that. Maybe that's not fair. I guess 3 years could actually be seen as a long time. So maybe people just took a really, really long time to adjust to 3D, period. Anyway, with the aerial, we're basically just going to use our grabs a whole ton. Because that's the easiest way to deal damage to everybody. Might feel a little bit cheap, but if it works, right?
悪いな。どうしても俺勝ち進まなきゃならねえんだ。
悔しいわ。こんな気持ち初めて。